Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. Welcome back to the YouTube channel. Make sure to smash a like and subscribe if you are new. We are so close to 400 subscribers and we're on the road to 500. We're trying to hit that before the end of the year, as you lot know already. And obviously, once we hit that 400, another Q&A, another 400 subscriber special will take place. But yeah, talking about Duran again. But this time it's about more what people are complaining about for whatever reason, and only us would do this. And this is coming from, someone that complains all the time. I'm starting to get a little bit impatient with this transfer window. As much as I like the intention of what we're doing, I'm starting to get a little bit critical. Well, I was always going to be critical, but a little bit impatient. But my criticisms of the transfer window isn't what other people are saying. Like, a lot of people are saying scattergun approach and stuff. I don't believe in the whole scattergun approach thing. We have targets. But my problem is if we want to play it that badly, do we really think that we're going to get a player by offering this much and a bunch of add-ons? Now, we don't need to sell to buy, as the technical director said. So there are no excuses to not spend a bit. But I get it, we cannot spend 30, 40 million on every position. And the reason why we did that with Max Kilman is not only because of the sell-on clause, but because Lopetegui wanted him so bad. But moving on to a striker like John Duran, for example, obviously there's been a lot of talk about us trying to agree a price, etc. And I'm assuming this is also one of the key players that Lopetegui wants. I want to see striker right back done either this week or next week. If it's not done by next week, then fucking hell, I'm going to be very angry. But striker right back are two priority positions at this current moment in time. But moving on to the striker position, obviously John Duran has wanted to leave Villa for a few months, I'd say, mainly because he doesn't get along with Unai Emery. But there was already rumours of him not getting along with Unai Emery about 3 or 4 months in. I remember seeing headlines about that, but I was thinking, that's probably not true. But it turns out it might be. It might be, because it's always been brewing ever since that. Even Villa fans have been saying it. But he's deleted every picture of Aston Villa in his Instagram and unfollowed Aston Villa on Instagram, apparently. But here's my problem. Who cares? Now, what our fans are using this to do is to say that he has a bad attitude and all of that stuff. Now, listen, I don't know whether you guys pay attention to this kind of stuff, because I don't, but when all this stuff usually gets put on the timeline of a player that removes all their pictures and stuff and whatever, that usually happens. Like, it's just Instagram. Like, think about what you guys are getting angry over and what you say, this is a red flag to me. This means he must have a bad attitude. On what level, on what basis does that mean that he would have a bad attitude? I don't get it. It's just Instagram. How is getting rid of pictures and unfollowing the Instagram account a red flag? He wants to play. It's going to be hard to bench Ollie Watkins. They bought Cameron Archer as the second striker, and I'm sure Cameron Archer will pull up less of a fuss. But I wouldn't mind competing with someone like Ollie Watkins in their team. But with John Duran, he was brought in as the Danny Ings replacement, funny enough. But he also wants to play. So he wants to move to West Ham to join another Spanish-speaking manager, Julian Lopetegui. And judging by the fact that we're having this much in for him, he's going to play quite a lot. And obviously if he impresses in training and stuff. Like, think about what people are getting angry over, guys. He's deleting pictures and unfollowing someone on Instagram. It's really not that deep. I hate to break it to people, but it is not that deep at all. Just because he removed some pictures. It's not like there's reports of him coming out being like that. I mean, obviously he wouldn't be in training anyway. But it's not like there's, like, let's say, for example, he wasn't at Copa America. He comes back and he's been sent to their under-18s because he's not in Unai Emery's plans or whatever. And apparently he's been kicking the children in the fucking training or whatever, or he's been brought back to pre-season training and he's refused to train or whatever. Those are red flags. But deleting pictures on Instagram is too far. Sure, these are the same people, by the way, that will call Aaron Cresswell a good servant, even though the guy refused to train to try and pursue a move to Wolves, but also call him a good example to the youngsters. Well, what is a good example set of, refusing to train for the club that you play for, that has paid your wages for over 8 years, and then you decide to refuse to train? But obviously, because Aaron Cresswell's Aaron Cresswell and you stay here for 10 years, it means that you're a good servant, and it also means that you should get legend status. It also means that you are a model citizen at the club. But God forbid someone deletes an Instagram picture. You're just finding something to complain about at this point. And it's coming from people that were backing Moyes a lot last season when we were getting battered 5 or 6-0. And the reason why I want to circle that back to that is because they're now looking at it as a new manager, and the director of football is big in charge a lot. So because we're going after this target, we're bidding money for him, and this is more adamant from the director of football, etc. These are the same people that are angry, that are already trying to put down these targets that the director of football and the new manager want, because they were so head over heels with David Moyes last season, even though we were getting battered every week. But God forbid someone deletes an Instagram picture. I don't care if someone deletes an Instagram picture. How are you finding something to complain about in that? If you want to criticise the transfer window, do that. Because that is completely fine. Because I was criticising the transfer window last season, when people were telling me, but stay calm. It's only July and we haven't signed anyone. That was last year. At least we signed 2 players that were actually of use. But even then, in my opinion, it's still not good enough. But the reason why I'm so hesitant right now is because this is the first season of the new regime, where the new regime is in charge. Because even though Steiner was appointed last year, he barely got any say because David Moyes was still there, and then he waited until he got his chance and got his own man. So he has more say in the recruitment stage. And this is also a whole new rebuild where I'm expecting it to go over 2 seasons, as impatient as I am. Now, ideally for me, I would have liked another left-back instead of Aaron Cresswell. I would have liked a right-back by now. I would have liked a striker by now. I would have liked Danny Ings gone. I would have liked Souček gone. I would have liked Zuma and Aged gone. I would have liked Sufal gone and get 2 right-backs, but this is not Football Manager. You can't even do this on Football Manager unless you fucking cheat. Simple as that. Stop complaining about things that don't need to be complained. If you want to criticise the transfer window, do that. If you want to say we're not getting deals done quick enough, do that. But I don't believe in this whole, he's fucking deleted his Instagram pictures, so he has a bad attitude. Do you know some players and managers just don't get along? That doesn't mean they have a bad attitude. That's how some players gain a bad reputation and it follows them around for clubs. I'm not going to let that happen to someone that has just joined in the Premier League, is about 19 or 20 years old. And we'll see if that happens. If that happens again at this club, then we can have a conversation about if he joins West Ham and he doesn't get along with Lopetegui either, and he throws a tantrum because he didn't play a few games. Then you can, judge a man's character because he has a repeat offence of this. But this is not a thing, guys. This is not a thing. And judging by what the morale is like within the training ground, it seems like Lopetegui gets along with everyone. So if Lopetegui was to also get along with John Duran, it doesn't actually put anything on Unai Emery either, by the way. But it just means that them two would get along because they would have a better relationship. It's quite as simple as that. It's quite black and white in terms of that. That doesn't mean Unai Emery is bad at dealing with youngsters or dealing with characters either. It just means them two don't really get along. Because Unai Emery sees him as a second choice striker because Ollie Watkins is the first choice. But Duran wants to play more. It's genuinely not that deep in my eyes. I didn't even want the player at first. I didn't even want Duran at first. I wanted Ivan Toney. I was sold on Jonathan David by the people that watched him in Liga. But we're not going to get either of them. So fuck it. It's going to probably be Duran. If it's not Duran, they're going to have to fix up and try and sign someone else. They've got to agree a price because I don't know where else John Duran would go either. But anyway, let me know what you think in the comments. But also, let me get this done quickly as well. I know a lot of people are concerned about, David Sullivan and this being a David Sullivan transfer window. Hear what I'm going to say. Just because Aaron Wan-Bissaka has got a Will Sorthouse client does not mean it's done by David Sullivan. Because the manager also wants him as well. Now, the reason why I don't think this is a David Sullivan thing is because David Sullivan had to hire a new man because he doesn't want to be a part of footballing decisions anymore. And the reason why I believe this is because I don't think all of this stuff would be happening at the club, and we would have signed Guilherme if Sullivan was in charge. Sullivan would have bid like 2 million for Guilherme, and he would have said at maximum 10 million for Guilherme. Sullivan would have coughed up, been willing to cough up the 40 million for Kilman if it was all up to him. Sullivan would have also bid probably 2 million for N'Golo Kante. He probably would have done something ridiculous like that. That is proper lowballing. That is Sullivan lowballing. This is the same chairman that sold Chicharito when we got Sebastian Haller, but made sure to sell Chicharito when the transfer window was done in England, so he couldn't have the pressure of him signing a replacement. That was when we had no structure and the whole chairman was in charge. I believe we have a structure now, but I am gaining impatient with it. I believe Steidon is the man. However, I'm still going to criticise him. Because I criticise everyone at this club, guys. You see Jared Bowen and Mikel Antonio are my favourite players at this club. If they have a bad performance, I'm going to criticise them. I don't care about feelings. I don't care. I'm going to criticise you. It's not like I'm going to say something mad. I'm just criticising you on a footballing level. That is it. And anyone could get at this club, whether it's the owner, the director of football, the manager, or the players. Because I was a big David Moyes in guy as well. But then I criticised him where it was due. I just see things, if you watch football with your eyes and just judge football with your eyes and take your feelings out of it, not in terms of the club, but in terms of individuals, you could do this as well. It's not that deep. In terms of, just because your favourites aren't doing well doesn't mean you have to blindly defend them and stuff like that. I believe Steidon is the man of the club. Doesn't mean I'm not going to criticise him. Simple as that. But anyway, let me end it there. I'm going to be on Carefree Lewis's channel for the Shameless FC show, so make sure to go and join Lewis's channel at 8 p.m. UK time as you're watching this. I'll be on there as well, talking about West Ham from my perspective as well. It's just a Premier League show. You guys saw me there a couple of weeks ago, if you guys watched it, so I'm on there today as well. Make sure to like the video as well. Subscribe if you're new. Social medias are in the description if you want to follow me. The email for the inquiries. We're trying to hit 500 before the end of the year, so if you can subscribe, that would be great. Share it to someone that isn't subscribed, and I'll see you guys later. Goodbye.